about death, a subject that most people don't want to think about. But the inevitable hard truth that comes with being born into this living, breathing organism is that you and I are most definitely going to die. I know, right? It's back to school time, and death is in session. We're approaching that time of year that will undoubtedly make your stomach turn at just the mere whisper of the phrase, back to school.
On the hottest back to school styles.
Going back to school brings on a lot of mixed emotions. But I'm warning you to not waste your time being sad that summer's ending or feeling anxious about that new outfit you're gonna wear. Because if you're distracted going into this,
you just might die.
Backpacks, pencils and pens, the disorientation of having to wake up so damn early, cafeteria food, what is it? Glue, scissors, playground equipment, stairs, even the drawstring dangling from that new sweatshirt your mom just bought you. All of these have the potential to end your life if you're not careful. As you can see in this episode, I am sporting a backpack. They store all of your books and they make you look like a sloppy turtle. So whether you have a classic 2-strap backpack or a 1-strap messenger bag, if you're going back to school, you're gonna need a backpack. If it isn't the length of your torso and being carried about 2 inches below your waistline, then your backpack is incredibly dangerous. The spine is what keeps our bodies sturdy and upright, so if you put too much weight and pressure on that over time, it can affect a kid's posture, compress the spine, stunt growth, and even add to serious lifelong back problems.
Everyone knows a bad back leads to death.
So how don't I die from my backpack, Megan? Well, I'm glad you asked, Megan. First, you want to get a good backpack, like one that actually fits you. Make sure those straps are thick and tough, like the durability of your soul. And wear both of them, because if you're just dangling one off, you're gonna be bogged down a lot, but when you're wearing both of them, you're ready to fight death with both hands. Optional tip, learn karate and pack heavy things in the bottom of your backpack or closest to your back. This will distribute the weight appropriately and relieve pressure. Research shows that backpacks shouldn't exceed 10 to 20% of a person's body weight. And that's hard to maintain when you're given so many textbooks for different assignments and have to lug those around from class to class. Which is why many schools are switching to e-textbooks. Keeping it all on a Kindle. If you can do that, then you're keeping it light, man. Keep it light, keep it healthy. Enough about backpacks. Next, innocent-looking school supply killers, pens and pencils. These are pretty much shaped to kill, wouldn't you say? Not this one, this one's actually, you're good with this one. You see it in movies all the time. But pens and pencils are actually responsible for about 6,000 school injuries every year. In Northeast England in 2007, a 13-year-old boy was sitting and doing his homework while chewing on his pen. He leaned casually back in his chair when suddenly he slipped and fell and the pen cap got stuck in his throat and he choked to death. A tragic reminder to not suck on your pen, but also just they are covered in germs and they're super sharp. When I was in 2nd grade, I had a new pencil cup holder that I was very excited about. I put it at the edge of my desk to present to all my friends, like, look at what I have. Let me present my pencils pointing upwards so you all can see its glory. But then a fellow student and friend of mine leaned over somehow and hit her face into my upright pencil, poking her directly into the eye where she still has a lead mark to this day. Sorry, Allison. So ever since that day, I've made it a point to put anything sharp downward. As for the rest of these dangers, how to survive. Lack of sleep can lead to so many different types of accidents, so get some rest. If you don't trust cafeteria food, pack your own lunch. Glue, don't eat it. Scissors, don't eat those either. Stairs, walk with caution. And buy sweatshirts without anything that can strangle you. Time to put on your dancing shoes, because this Saturday night fever kills. Today I'm talking dancing, because if you're like me, every now and then you like to get down to a nice,
Sick beats.
whatever type of dance you're into, ballet, waltz, breakdance, contemporary, hip-hop, tap, the twist, twerking, dabbing, cha-cha sliding with nay-nayin', voguing. Vogue, 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 baby, vogue, vogue, vogue. You break it down, really, all it is just rhythmic flailing around done in a coordinated or controlled manner. And if executed without the right precautions, you might be on your way to the casket. A living room dance routine satisfies my need to rage and also gets a little cardio in so I stay fit. But coming from experience, sometimes you can get caught up in a moment in the music and then you forget that your ankles are weak and you come down and roll your ankle. What I have demonstrated is unsafe dancing. Instead of dancing barefoot around a lot of hazardous objects, you should wear shoes that are fitted to your foot and are appropriate for the style of dance you're doing. And speaking of dance style, you should choose one that is appropriate to your level of fitness. Because there's nothing like trying to twerk upside down when your arms are not strong enough, so you fall on your head and crush it and die. Avoid that by training your arms. Pump it up so you can get some nice strong muscles. You should also warm up with some proper stretching routines, and then check your environment for anything hazardous and use the correct posture and technique. Because without the right technique, you might be susceptible to long-term injury or sprain something that causes you to lose your balance and fall into something sharp where you then die. Or maybe something more outrageous happens than just a fall and you're put under a Catholic curse of dancing plague. Dancing plague sounds like something that I just made up to make a joke for this video. But in fact, you're about to learn some history right now. The time was July 1518 in Strasbourg, as they say. A mysterious hysteria of dance broke out among the people and ultimately killed 400. And it all started out with a woman known as Frau Trophia. She started dancing in the streets to nothing but the sounds of the city. All day, all night, morning, afternoon, for 4 to 6 days until about 30 people joined her after a week. And then in a month, 400 were dancing. At the time, local physicians investigated this happening and blamed it on a disease they called hot blood. And instead of bloodletting, they thought they would just let the people sweat and twerk the disease out. They even made a stage and hired professional dancers and musicians to provide background music to this death dance. People started dying from sheer exhaustion, heart attacks, and strokes, and the episode lasted until September. That's a long time to dance, so it's no surprise to me that 400 people died. And while this does sound bizarre, in the 16th century this wasn't completely uncommon. Some similar instances were recorded from Switzerland, Germany, and Holland. One theorist thinks that it was the superstition and group thought around this Catholic curse that they thought had been put on them. And when people are in a highly suggestible state, it's possible that they think they need to be doing what all the other people are doing. Other theories suggest that they were in a religious cult or that they ingested ergot fungi. It commonly grows on damp grains and is structured similarly to LSD, so it causes weird spasms and hallucinations. The same stuff was happening during the Salem witch trials too. Woo! So they might not have been dancing at all. Maybe they were just spasming from this horrible bread that they ate. Regardless, it happened. So the next time you go to your club or your living room, just remember to stay hydrated, wear good shoes, take breaks so you don't exert your body too hard and die like the people did in 1518. You're better than that. And check your fitness. Make sure you're not trying to do something that your body is physically incapable of doing. Thank you for watching this episode of Death Happens. I hope you learned a couple helpful things so that you don't have to die while dancing. Hey, listen up. Huh? Playtime.
It's over.
Today I'm talking toys! Whatever your style, toys play a crucial role in expanding our imagination. And they can even comfort us during times of trauma or bring peace to our nightmares. Maybe you used to play with dolls or cars, or you rode around your driveway on a little scooter. And if not, I bet you at least had a balloon once. But sometimes our most endearing, our most adorable possessions are actually accomplices to straight up murder. Take the stuffed animals, or more specifically for this example, teddy bears. You might be afraid of real bears out in the real woods, but between 1906 and 1995, there were only 82 recorded American deaths by bear attacks. That's 82 deaths in 89 years. It's not the craziest thing I've ever heard. Toys, however, account for about 140,000 injuries and 22 deaths every year. Teddy bears have buttons, belts, bows, sometimes improperly rooted hair that's deadly when inhaled, and they can also carry disease. But most often they're dangerous because they end up getting left on the floor. So watch out for rogue public teddy bears. You don't want to be caught with the flu or be caught tripping. Don't be tripping. Next, let's talk fidget spinners. This is a noisy one, isn't it? Fidget spinners are fun physics toys that can relieve stress. But warnings about these toys are popping up everywhere around the internet. Because when these suckers are broken, there's a lot of tiny little parts that when you're caught trying to snack on them, you might choke. If you get an urge to eat this, don't. Very unsatisfying. Throw your fidget spinner away when it breaks. And don't throw them at people pretending they're throwing stars. That's just violent Just don't do it. In 2014, 64% of documented deaths by toys were associated with riding toys like wagons, tricycles, and scooters being hit by vehicles. Kids are given these wheeled toys and told to stay in the driveway, but then it's up to the adults to look behind them before backing up. Because a lack of awareness from the driver and a playful kid is an equation for tragedy. If no one is backing up out of the driveway, kids are just clumsy. I mean, I'm still clumsy. The only time I ever broke a bone was when I was razor scootering in my driveway. They had such cool itty bitty wheels that were just prone to getting stuck in a sidewalk crack. And that's exactly what happened to me. It got stuck, I put out my arm, broken. And lastly, this episode would not be complete without some doll talk. Similar to stuffed animals or teddy bears, they have pieces attached to them that are susceptible to being choked on. Seriously, just don't eat your toys, kids. Dolls are often eerily lifelike. Not this one. I'm gonna set it down. They make for good villains in scary stories, haunters of our bad dreams, and triggers for our paranoia. Take the famous story of the possessed Raggedy Ann doll named Annabelle. She was gifted to a nursing student in 1970, but then was brought to a psychic after reporting some weird behavior. After Annabelle was diagnosed as demonically possessed, the owner tried to keep her and nurture her spirit. But then her fiance reported that it tried to kill her, so they were like, let's get rid of this doll. They called in demonologists Ed and Lorraine Warren to take the doll away. They took Annabelle and locked her up in the Warrens' occult museum in Monroe, Connecticut, where people can still visit her today, but it's warned that you do not taunt her. One motorcyclist decided to go visit Annabelle. He taunted the doll and then fatally crashed his motorcycle 3 hours later. Coincidence? Maybe, but still. Toys have the potential to be deadly, but as long as you don't try to eat them, stay aware of your surroundings while playing with them or while others are playing with them, and avoid taunting evil dolls, you should be just fine. Thanks for watching this episode of Death Happens. I hope you treat your toys with respect and then put them back in the toy box when you're done with them. Don't be tripping. Tap that like button and leave us a comment down below. Subscribe to Snarled and also to our gaming channel Slay Tricks if you like gaming and you want to see awesome women play games together. I hope to see you next week, but remember,
we're all gonna die.